Where's your wallet? Hand me your wallet. Where's your phone? Cool down, it's me, Peter.
You scared me half to death.
Meaning with one more scare like this and you're dead already?
Meaning I don't like it.
Eh. So, what were you shopping and whom were you shopping for?
Well, I'm shopping for Mama and my knight in shining armor.
My humble self, I'm sure.
Are you wearing an armor?
Come on, don't tell me you can't see my breastplate of, what do they call it now? My shoe of salvation and my sword of truth.
That means you're not the person since I can't see my knight shining armor.
Abba, come on. I know it's because of that bros you are doing all this one. I'm not particularly pleased with that fellow. You pay me little or no attention because of... What's that his name again? Is it... James or Jamie or whatever you call him. It's not fair.
Yeah, that boss is serious. At least more serious than you are presently.
Come on, it's not like I'm not serious. But the thing is, I'll be a foolish man to take a woman to the altar like this. Unprepared without laying a good foundation. What if things take a downward trend?
Yeah, I know you're serious. And John is also. And you know, I'm 27. I'm fast getting over my brain. I just hope and pray you see someone sweet like me. I mean, like Jane.
I bet she's sweeter than you.
Yeah, they say taste is the tongue of the eater.
So, can I see what you have there?
It's not your business.
Come on. Why is it not my business? I should mind my business, Abby.
Yeah, mind your business.
Hey, you are my business. I will mind you.
No, say business, get level.
Really? You're my business.
What happened to your face?
Cut.
This life, the only thing that is important in this life is vigilance. If you sleep with your 2 eyes closed, you may never wake up.
So are you suggesting that we should no longer sleep?
Mama Julie. You have little knowledge about parables. I didn't mean you should sleep with your 2 eyes open. I only mean be vigilant.
I know, but it's just that it is better sometimes to keep our eyes closed so that we won't see what will make us never to sleep again.
Confess, how does your family be safe? We don't know who marry who. See, all your daughters and in-laws are behaving like general wives and general husbands.
It is family love, Jare.
If it's family love, Uncle, you no get limit. See now, see Julie, it did not be 8 months ago her husband died. But she not be feel am.
Me, I not feel am as I suppose. It's just that the bond in this family is so strong. We are all supporting ourselves to carry ourselves along.
Okay, I agree with you. In times like this, support is most important.
I can't agree more.
Only that you have to tell those two to limit the way they show affection in public. Because I'm suspecting them already.
Nothing they there.
Okay, hey, please come. See Julie. Julie, look at the way she's looking at artist as husband.
Alright, boy, we'll see you. Take care of yourself. Alright. Yeah, dear.
When will you be coming around again to see us? No, this house is too big and uncomfortable without a man around.
Don't worry. You know I have to work to keep body and soul together. And now I'll be here from time to time to see you. You know that already, don't you?
Yeah, but then, why don't we move over to your place? At least we'll be more secure there. The children will be happy together. We'll go and visit Mama together and...
Don't put fire on the mountain. Okay? You're not my wife. At least not yet. Do not worry. However it is, I do know I won't let nothing happen to you for as long as I'm alive. Okay?
Okay.
You remember that always. Alright, take care of yourself.
Okay.
Young man, take care of yourself, okay?
Is Uncle Peter going to be my new daddy?
Good day, viewers, and you're welcome to today's episode of The Sessions. Today we'll be talking about the story of a man and a woman by the name Peter and Julian, and it's titled Family Circle. To do justice to this particular issue today, I have with me 3 gentlemen. To the far right, I have Dr. Ufoma Adu of Ebony Clinic at Okumagba Avenue in Warri, Delta State. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, and good day, viewers.
Okay, and right in the middle here, I have Reverend Ufwa Emmanuel. He's a senior pastor at Rema Place Ministries at Airport Road in Warri, Delta State also. You're welcome, sir.
God bless you.
And just by me on my right here, I have Pastor Michael Ajao, also the pastor, a senior pastor with a Highway Christian Church in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I remain your host, and my name is Akimbola Fraze. Now, talking about a family circle. Now, in this situation here, we have Peter showing some kind of affection for Julian. I would like to ask, is there any moral stance in showing desire for one's in-law under this condition? Pastor Mike, under this condition, is there a moral stance for Peter and Julian to have any affair?
Yeah, when you talk about moral stand, and looking at the situation surrounding their lives, you know, they are supposed to be in-laws, but the husband of one is dead, the wife of the other is dead.
That makes them free.
And yes, that makes them free to remarry.
Okay.
But looking at the fact, but looking at the fact that they are from a family, so to say, there has been a relationship.
Okay.
If you look at the issue of moral and want to go absolute,
okay,
I really think a lot of people will not feel comfortable with it, and to an extent, I see it as a very dicey issue. Looking at cultural issue, biblical issue,
okay,
and the likes. But
okay,
really, there's nothing bad, you know, looking at the situation. If you want to look at it globally, absolutely.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
So Peter can go ahead.
If you are looking at it from that absolute angle,
okay,
nothing is wrong with it.
Okay, but if we look at it from another angle, something can be
from another angle, looking at the fact that it's a closely knit family.
Okay. Looking at
their story, one may want to begin to deduce and begin to make some assumptions. You know, but assumptions will not speak here. One really needs to know what is the real situation.
Okay. You know. Reverend Ufasa, do you share his opinion or his view that there's nothing wrong in Peter? He has lost his wife, even though he's the younger sister to the person he's currently having affection with. Do you share his opinion also?
I actually thought at this time the man had not died, and John. Is it Peter that was already having affection for the woman before even the husband died, before the brother died?
Okay.
Is that correct?
No. As it is, they were a closely knit family, okay, and they are very close. They are just like very, very well closely knit.
Right.
But now, I think it's just like when you have a friendship that develops into affection or something like that.
I share the view of my brother here, Pastor Mike. Ordinarily, they are not biologically related.
Okay. Yes.
And that puts them on a free pedestal to get married.
Okay.
But looking at it culturally, traditionally, some people might see it as a taboo. Why is some other places where things are not forbidden, they see nothing wrong with it? But ideally, looking at it from a global perspective, they have nothing
standing
against their marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we are talking about respect for culture now. If the culture accepts it, then you can go ahead. If the culture doesn't accept it, then they should resist.
Although I need to mention quickly that again, I want to talk as a child of God, as a Christian.
Yes.
That even though globally speaking it may be acceptable, both of them will still need to seek the mind of God. Does God want them to come together?
That's another matter.
They understand.
Yeah, you're very correct. But we're talking about humanly speaking now. It's ideal. They're not related.
Yes.
Just that by reason of marriage,
yes,
they have come to be one family.
Exactly.
And there are things you can't just do. There are things you can't just delve into. I now see the woman as my brother's wife. My brother is no more, and I have affection for her. The family might frown against it. They might frown at it. But ordinarily speaking, nothing stops them from getting married.
Okay, Dr. Adu, do you share that
biblically, a woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. So once the husband or the wife is living, they are free to marry. I think the only barriers here is cultural perception, which is not biblical. It varies from one culture to the other. Okay. So we may only try to be culturally sensitive, but they are free to marry.
Okay, so again, it comes to the respect for the culture at that point. Okay, but culture or no culture, when someone has affection for one other person, as it is now, it's like they've not yet made the issue known to Julian's mother. Okay, so it's just between the two of them that they are having these thoughts or plans or whatever. How do you see it? Like, perhaps it helps. One already has a child, which is Julian has a child, and it helps for them to be able to keep the family inheritance or whatever within the family rather than just spreading it out or taking it out. Does that show as a line of thought that is reasonable?
If I may respond to that, actually it is not a bad idea, because the young child is already used to the other man, already calling him, he has always known him as uncle, somebody he can trust. You understand? Somebody he can trust.
Okay, yeah, Peter now. Peter has been an uncle to him. Yes. Okay, but we see him asking whether Peter is going to become his new daddy. Yeah. Is that really healthy for the child?
I think so, because for me, yeah, because for a child to grow and then grow maturely, have a balanced life, there must be somebody that he can, repose his trust and can look up as a father figure, now he has known him, he liked him, trust him, so those are some of the issues we need to look at. What if the both parents died and no mother, no father, and he's orphan? He will still need to get a father, somebody to look up to. Okay. And now it's even more comfortable for both of them, that is the mother and the child, to look up to somebody that they have always known and trusted.
Okay, yes. But for the child today, his uncle, tomorrow, his daddy.
It does happen.
It happens.
I think it's about perception.
And then the child will make a transition.
It's just a transition period. I think it's an easy transition for him. That meeting somebody else he has ever known and say, this is not my daddy. And somebody has always looked up to and respected. I think it's an easier transition for him.
Now, in the whole event, there's a silent part of it that doesn't really come up much. You will see a situation where the lady, I think she's already having other persons like interested in her. Now, in view of the fact that in some cultures it's acceptable, in some cultures it may not be acceptable, and in view of the fact that there is room for misinterpretation, does it not speak better for her to go in the line of somebody else that already has interest in her rather than sticking with Peter?
I try to put myself in Peter's shoes. If I were Peter, even though I find nothing wrong with it, I will search my conscience. I won't do it. My conscience will trouble me.
Why would that be?
All things are lawful.
Okay.
Not all things are expedient. Okay. And then secondly, if my eating of this meat will cause someone else to stumble, I rather not do it.
Okay, but sir,
right?
Sir, let me extend it a little bit. In a situation where perhaps we don't know the full condition around him, maybe he's kind of walk. We hear him complaining one time that he's not settled and all that, and he may need a known hand, a trusted hand to take care of. He has a daughter. He has a daughter that needs to be taken care of. Does he have to go and start a fresh search when he already has a trusted hand?
Even another dimension to that is the issue of, it's just a culture. In some other cultures, if you are still in that same culture, your conscience will not prick you. So is it culturally based that you now say if you are now in Europe or in America, your conscience? So the issue might be, is it the pressures around that determines whether Peter can go? So if he has traveled and as he too is a global citizen, his conscience will not prick him. So let's be very careful about cultural perception and morally right. So I think our culture and how the families will look at it will not determine whether you should go around. Which means if it's in some other places, you say fully blessed, go ahead, because marry.
Yeah, one more thing I try to look at here is this. Actually, the decisions is theirs to make. Peter's and then the other lady, what's her name, Julia?
Julia.
Is theirs to make. And decision must be, moving around what God wants the two of them to do. Because if God is saying, Peter, you are actually designed to marry this lady, and then Peter begins to feel it is culturally wrong, it means he's kicking against the will of God. You know, when it comes to the will of God, sometimes it beats our imagination. Okay. It's, you know, it overrules every cultural feelings, you know, or perspective that we may have, you know, about the whole issue.
Okay. We'll be taking a short break now, and when we come back, we'll be delving into what is actually the will of God. Is it God that made Peter to lose his wife and then Julian to lose the husband so that his will can be done? We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, viewers, to the second segment of today's discussion. We are still talking about family circle, the story of Peter and Julian and their affection for one another after the loss of their spouses. Just before we went on break, we were talking about the will of God, and we just want to find out briefly, how does Peter know exactly whether it's the will of God for him to marry Julian and not I think Jane that he married before? We talked about them ensuring that, look, they should search their hearts, they should pray, and God should direct them. How can Peter be sure that, okay, this is actually the will of God? Is there any magic one, any clear-cut way to know if it is the will of God or is not? Okay,
looking at this, we are not talking about the faith of Peter or the faith of Julian, whether they are Christians or not, but I'm going to look at it from two different angles. Let me assume that Peter was a Christian, Julian as well, a Christian.
Okay.
Definitely, for a child of God, you know that every step you take, especially major decisions in life, you need to commit into the hands of God.
Okay.
And be sure that God is involved.
Okay.
You know, but for a lot of people, they tend to assume, they tend to believe that once I have an affection and for this guy, then God must be involved. Some affections may be pure infatuation, things that will not last. You know, because by the time you begin to clarify yourself, you begin to ask yourself some deep-seated questions. What did I really feel for this lady? Is it because her husband is gone? I'm feeling pity. Can I marry her out of pity?
Okay.
You know, and such relationships will never last. You know. So the will of God cannot be removed from the whole thing. Now, let's assume that they are not Christians. How do they get to understand what the will of God is? They may need to seek counsel from those who are spiritually sound, you know, who can rely on the wisdom of God to help them, you know, clarify the issues.
Okay, you mentioned something I want to ask. Is it clear, can you clearly state that the affection between Peter and Julian now has no element of pity inside?
I think that's where it comes to searching themselves. They need to
before they lost their spouses.
Yes.
They were already passed.
Yes.
They were already close.
Yes.
So the affection was already there.
Okay.
So it might be a mixture of affection and pity.
Okay, that's going to be difficult to separate. Okay, now, before such an event as the loss of their spouses, what practical guidelines are there or limits to having affection within a large family where there are in-laws and all that? What guidelines do we think are right? Are there boundaries or not?
Like you said earlier, the will of God does not stop at affection.
Okay.
Within a family circle, you cannot rule out the fact that someone must have an affection for someone else. It does happen. But that it happens does not make it right. So you discover that issues like incest comes in.
Yeah.
You know, relations, having sex with relations and all that in the name of love. And that love is not acceptable. We've handled several issues of such and they are still on.
I think we call it inordinate affection.
Inordinate affection.
Because it exists. You hear stories of brother and sister having to sleep together
Okay.
You know.
Now in this situation now, it's likely that if it's not properly managed, if it's not properly managed, such a thing may come up.
There should be boundaries.
Okay.
There should be boundaries.
There should be defined relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is to manage those boundaries? Is it the parents of the wives or the husbands or the people that
The individuals are talking about the adults.
Yes.
They should be able to manage themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, they should have boundaries. If you are not disciplined, that'll be a problem.
Yeah, we know, but there are times that people, the main actors, may have probably lost their minds. Their affections probably have blinded them. That is why those others who are bystanders, could be the parents, could be some of their friends, close friends, who begin to say, boy, what is it that you are doing with this lady?
Watch your moves.
Do you understand? And that is why we are responsible for one another's welfare. You know, Africa, we have this communal spirit that guides us. And that is why in the script, people are already commenting when they were seeing them in public together. And I was saying off camera the other time that they should have actually been, they should have been discreet about the relationship right from the word go. To come out full blown, whether 6 months after, 8 months after, is not really mature. You should have actually been very discreet, you know, to handle their affection very well.
Okay, so maybe I'll differ with you about the timelines.
Okay.
Because if it's 2 years, does it make it much more acceptable? That's not the question. If it's right, then at what time do you want to put them under that state of emotional stress? And how discreet can you be when you love someone, and for how long becomes debatable? I think it's individual. So if it's right and others in the family think it's right, they should make it open so that people don't start thinking they're doing something behind the scene. It gives room for gossip. So that we all accept and tell them you can go ahead, or we say put a stop, you cannot go ahead.
For it is better to marry than to burn with passion.
Okay, so do we say it's better for Peter to marry Julian than to burn with passion?
It depends on the situation.
Okay, Julian's mother, now that a neighbor is already pointing to her that, look, I'm suspecting something here, and she just waves it off with the back of the hand. What can she do better?
She should find out. She should call her daughter and try to find out what. We don't just waive such issues, because it's a major decision the daughter now has to make. Is it right or wrong? She needs guidance at that point. Even if she wants her to continue, you need to call her and say, what's going on? I heard this report. Let's know what's going on. Okay,
let me dig out something again. I want to believe that she's mature. She's more mature than her daughter, so her brain should be more developed. If she waves it off, it points to the fact that that show of affection has been normal and has been routine
in the family.
I don't blame that.
Even before the demise of the spouses. Exactly. That's why she waved it off. Now, was that acceptable? Was that acceptable while they still had their spouses?
But in this situation, honestly speaking, she shouldn't have waved it off, because the circumstances have changed.
Okay.
The circumstances have changed.
She was acting in ignorance.
Thank you, sir. The circumstances have changed, and she needed at that point to call the daughter what is happening. She's a woman. She knows that when a man and a woman who are not previously married to each other begin to get close, even though they were close, then she needed to be to ask some questions.
She wasn't vigilant.
She asked.
Okay, I think that was why the neighbor was advising her to sleep with one eye.
And be vigilant.
She needs to watch. While she's playing, she needs to watch.
Okay. Now, on a final note, for Julian herself, what is her place in this? Perhaps her mother is not seeing anything wrong. She feels it's just a normal show of affection. And Peter himself, maybe he finds himself in a situation he needs a wife and all that. What can Julian herself, as a lady, do to make the situation right? Yes.
Yeah, I think each of them, every one of them has a responsibility to clarify themselves. Julian, starting with Julian, she's a woman, and you know, women, just like we all know, can be swept this way or that way by words. And emotions sometimes may go this way, tomorrow it may be the other way. You know, they flow according to their emotions. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. So you see her actually wanting Peter around, because she wants
Julian,
the man figure.
Julian was already waiting for shoulders to lean on.
Okay.
She found one.
Okay.
So for her, she has no problem. She will fall in.
That's what we're saying. So she
has no problem.
They need self-control.
Is
Yes.
is it okay, or is it not possible for her to maybe mention something to her mother at least? You know, for if it were to be a young girl that is growing and is into a relationship for the first time, sometimes she may need to tell the mother. But in this case now, can she approach her mother to tell her mother that, mommy, this guy is coming?
Except,
can she do that?
She has to, except we believe that the family has been close-knit.
Okay.
Say they've been that close-knit, there should still be that communication. Even in this time is when they need the communication more. This step I want to take is a major
personal and family
decision.
Yeah, but don't forget that as the story presents itself, just the mother or the mother of the other person, they are not the only ones in this issue. The entire family.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is why she needs to open up to somebody who will open up to somebody, and then it becomes a family matter at the end of the day.
Okay, what I really want to get clear is this. Is she to open up to her mother, or she's to look for, just like we advise Peter to look for somebody that the family respects and open up to that person?
She should start with the mom.
Culturally, you find close to your mother, so she should
start with
except there's a gap.
Okay.
She should open up to her mother, who can, of course, tell the father or whoever.
Yeah.
Okay, Julian, you hear what our advisors have said. You need to open up and talk to your mother about the situation where you find yourself right now. And Peter also, you are not directly a son in the family, so you need to look for someone who the family respects, who can be able to speak for you. And for anybody also out there who has such a situation as an issue, these are words of wisdom from which you can dig out solutions to your situation. So I want to thank every one of you for coming also to do justice to this story. So Pastor Mike, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And Reverend Nifwa, thank you for coming also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming also. So for our viewers out there who wanted to keep the day with us on the same program, same time, same station next week, I remain your host, Akimbola Praise. Thank you. Bye.